So then here comes the next obvious question about all of this, which is, so then in 1995, the whole thing ends. We were given 5 years. We were told 5 years prior that it was going to end, which was a tremendous gift because our lives had to be realigned in a totally new way. So the question that I've been asked as Mary Margaret is, then what? What was my experience after the ending of all of this magnificent life? And the truth of it was difficult. It was as if the best friend you've ever had in the world has gone, and you had all the questions, and now you had to find your own answers. But the last thing that was said to us was, if you want to find me, then you have to go where I am, which is in the depth of the heart of your true being. Go there and you will find me. So in those months after, in the loneliness of that all, the words kept coming back to me, and I thought, I've got to do something with my life. You know, in a way it felt like I had done the most successful thing I could ever do, the most meaningful, the most wonderful, and now what? You know, is my life over? You know, what could be better than that? So all I had was his trace statement to us. So I decided to take it up as my inner focus, whatever you want to call it. And so I did, you know, continually using as much of the teachings as I could to pull myself down deeper and deeper with this understanding and his absolute guarantee that it was there. And the more time I spent in the simplicity of that, the clearer it became. But what was interesting for me is, if I could put it bluntly, a lot of people weren't interested in Mary Margaret now that Bartholomew was gone. It was just like, well, she's done it and that's finished. So I had to redo my entire life because the belief was that I was on my own. That was the thought. He's left, I'm on my own. Now, of course, this is absolutely contrary to everything he ever said. But the mind still had it that way, that he's gone, I've got to go find him. None of that proved to be true. None of that. Nothing had gone. There was nothing to find because everything had always been there, prior to him coming and after him coming, and the whole time that he was there. These were all just moving objects within the field of brilliant, magnificent, absolute wonder of being itself. All of these events were coming and going. In what? In what had always been there, which is what he was pointing to the entire time. He was never pointing at himself and said, follow me and you shall be saved. There was none of that. So what was always present was finally seen, and I say finally because it was years, finally was seen, oh, I see now. Ah, and then the eye disappears. And there's nothing but seeing. And there's nothing but experiencing. And then it's the awareness that everything in the experiencing, it comes, it goes, this is interesting, that's interesting. It just changes so that there's no particular focus necessary. Nothing particular needs to happen, although there can arise, I want this, I wish this weren't true, I'd like it to be this way. But, you know, with just an instant of almost like a shaking of the head of awakening in the moment, and you're back to, wait, where could it go? Where could it possibly go? Of course it's here. And then in that moment, there it is. Again, what has always been here is that which is experiencing everything. So you could say it has two aspects. There are no two anythings, but we'll pretend. There is the aspect of the experiencing, and then there is also the aspect of everything that is moving, being created and dissolving all the time within the experiencing. And it seems to be two things, but it isn't. It isn't. And it's seen. It's seen. Everything is experiencing and being experienced. And the simplicity, again, is where would this not be?